You supposed to be bigger, faster, stronger. Michigan, you supposed to run down people's throat. It shouldn't have been all the games.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and with me today is my tag team partner, the Christopher Daniel, to my AJ Styles of TNA, the icon, the showstopper, the main event, and the reason why we are here, Coach Mike Francis. And Coach, AJ Styles got hurt at a house show. Wish him a speedy recovery. Got a broken ankle. AJ's in his 40s now, but it doesn't look like it needs surgery. But again, all week long, I'm doing my tribute to AJ Styles. I think it's phenomenal, pardon the pun, worker. And again, I hope he can make it back healthy and sound. But Happy New Year to you, sir. And how are you?
New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Glad to be here. Looking forward to 2023. And, see what we got to offer.
Well, Mike, let's just jump into it because I need your knowledge on what I saw last night. I mean, well, of course, when we tape fans. And then there were two. So we're going to break down the TCU Michigan game first, the Ohio State Georgia game second. And since we do tape, I mean, it's not like we can hide. So count me as one of the doubters of TCU. I was one of them. Okay. Mike makes an annual Michigan rant. He does every year. He makes an annual Michigan rant about Michigan, Ohio State, and blah, blah, blah. And he compares it to Utah, even though Utah is really bad now. So we don't have to say it, but I get it because it makes sense. But before I try to break down plays of the game, Mike, what are your initial thoughts on what you saw based on your annual Michigan rant?
A couple decisions didn't make sense to me. It was like the pressure got maybe to them a little bit, but TCU was better up front. It was more physical. Yeah, TCU was more physical at the point of attack. Everything they did, they were just stronger. And they were quicker, more athletic. Like they were just a better team, honestly.
Yeah.
Had they not made a couple mistakes, Michigan would not have stayed in the game. A couple turnovers here or there.
But so I do want your football. I want Coach Francis on this because I had some plays of the game. I did, and I took my notes on the airplane. I'm not shouting out Southwest right now, but that's another story for another day. But in the first quarter, after a great run, Michigan got cute, and then Hope appeared in the parking lot. So I got to go to that play. Michigan ran right through them. And no matter what you say as a coach, no matter how much you prepare for them, when they get out on the court, when the players get out on the field, they have their own doubt. And man, on that first play, and they just gut punched them. I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. And I'm sure the players were like, dang, they just ran down the field on us. And then they got cute. So can you tell me why they got cute instead of running it 3 more times?
That's what I'm talking about, those decisions. I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, you supposed to be bigger, faster, stronger. Michigan, you supposed to run down people's throat. It shouldn't have been all the games. Should have been all the games.
And I mentioned Hope fans because that's something that we as coaches talk about. So, Mike, at 9:22 of the first quarter was the first pick six, okay? And TCU went up 7-0, and Hope stood in line for a ticket. So first Hope was in the parking lot after that stupid 4th down play. And then Hope was in line for a ticket after the pick six made it 7-0. And then 2:27 left in the first quarter. They scored off of a 12-play, 76-yard drive that ate up 5 minutes and 19 seconds of the clock.
That's all it was?
TCU is up.
I thought it was more than that. It seemed like more than that.
It seemed like more than that. TCU was up 14-0. Hope is in the building. And then Mike in the second quarter.
She was there.
Okay, 4:56. They scored off another 10-play, 83-yard drive, took up a little over 4 minutes. TCU was up 21-3. Hope is on the sidelines now. So Hope went from the parking lot to the ticket line to the building to the sidelines. And then in the third quarter, they matched each decisive touchdown. Hope is now in the heart, and we got a ball game. Can you tell me what you were thinking about when you were watching that?
I honestly thought that Michigan had like underestimated them a little bit or wasn't fully prepared for what they were seeing. That's what that's what it looked like to me. It was like they didn't see it before, or they wasn't prepared. I don't know that maybe it was a lack of respect or just the anticipation wasn't there for what they have for them. But TCU came in and they wasn't playing no games. None. And then by the time that they Michigan figured out what was going on and got into it, like it was 14-0. You know what I mean? That's what it seemed like. Those first two drives was like, oh, like Michigan had never seen it before.
Yeah. So fans, let me explain to you who are non-coaches or players about my fascination with Hope. Hope doesn't discriminate against race, color, gender, or creed. Hope is equal opportunity. When you believe you can win, you can win. So when a coach or a teacher or an administrator can aspire you to produce maximum effort, and that's what I saw, Mike, from TCU. I saw maximum effort. Man, you got more than a shot, and you can literally see the players, the coaches, and the fans will them to victory. And I'm the wrong coach to talk about bad calls with. Okay. Yeah, bad calls, maybe a touchdown. Well, don't throw 2 pick sixes, and we're not talking about it. So I tip my hat to TCU. But Mike, now comes the hard part. Can you do it again, or is their belly full? Can they win one more game to be considered one of the all-time great teams? What do you think, Mike? Kelly, he did it again.
They would be undefeated on the season, and the chances of that are rough, man. That's rough. That's going to be tough. And the Georgia showed me some issues, some glaring issues they had last night too.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Georgia shortly, but
so they're gonna. It's gonna be a good matchup though. Probably the best game in a long time because honestly, we kill the NCAA, we kill the college playoffs, They got it right. These were two of the greatest games in college playoff history. Probably the best. Let's just hands down.
Yes. That's clean to say.
Only thing, number 3 is when Alabama scored, or when Tua came off or whoever. Tua threw the ball, they won late in the game. That was it. Those are the top 3 games. And it just so happened we got the top 2 on the same day, which is kudos to the NCAA.
Yeah. All right. So Ohio State versus Georgia. 1, what a game. What a game.
Mm-hmm.
2, on a personal note, why did they cut it so close to midnight? You know, Muff wasn't having none of those damn Ohio State, Georgia. You know,
I was doing like this. I was like,
oh my goodness.
Commercial. All right. Turn it back.
Thank you, LeBron, for saying what we said. If you saw his tweet on social media,
What'd he say?
Savannah was videotaping him playing video games at New Year's because Ohio State lost. And you know, he's like, man, I don't want. I partied for my birthday. I'm just trying to play some Madden right now. So, you know, and Muff sent me that message too. So, all right, I missed the final field goal due to the countdown. I got to admit that. I can't.
Me
lie.
too.
3, 2, 1. I can't watch a kid miss a field goal and have the wife mad at me all day.
I turned it back, and the Georgia kids was going to silent. I was like, what the hell happened?
I'm like, how did he miss? But anyway.
Then I saw it about 20 minutes later.
Yeah. Ohio State did impress me with their grit. They did. They were tough. They truly believed they could beat Georgia. They believed it. Yeah. There is a level of lock-in, as my boy Tay Hill would say, who I worked with at Hood College, that players and coaches need. and Ohio State just missed a lot of opportunities. Now, a lot of people are talking about Ohio State star receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. He was knocked out of the game with a concussion. Ryan Day said Harrison was put in concussion protocol after defensive back Javon Bullard hit him in the end zone. This was with less than a minute left in the third quarter. Referees initially penalized for targeting, but the call was overturned. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a problem. Okay,
Shoo.
and he a bad boy.
Yeah, he is.
But with all that said, Georgia played a C- game and won.
Mm.
So that's where I am right now, Mike. Georgia played as bad as they could humanly possibly play and still won. What are your thoughts on that, sir?
I think Georgia just, I think late Georgia, the pass rush got to them late, that made him do some things he didn't want to do. I think it came on late. It didn't work early, but in the fourth quarter, you know how it is, that when it gets down into the last couple minutes, the pass rush in the games they was playing, they was doing some serious stunting. They finally got the crosses right. They was going inside out, outside in, everything, Xavier cuts. And I think that it hurried them up more than that. Now, they like to run that fast pace, but I think it hurried their decision-making. And even though they did make some plays, you know what I mean? They did make some plays. I just think it got them uncomfortable. And that's all we try to do as coaches, just make other teams uncomfortable.
And the timeout before the fake punt was masterful. Absolute masterful. You saw him walk. So talk me through that. You got the eye in the sky. You got people in the booth. You got you on the sidelines, which is a different view and a different angle. I have been doing the box for like the last 7 years. So when you're looking at football on the field, it's a different view than looking at it from above. And for him to be maneuvered next to the official and get that timeout before the fake punt, snap, man, that was masterful. What did you think about that sequence?
No, I mean, the guys upstairs are paying attention, counting heads, doing what they're supposed to do. They obviously saw the advantage and got the timeout before the fake, which was good. That's what you do as a coach. And as to what you're saying, when you're on the sideline, you can't see on the other side of the field anyway. So we used to play against teams, they would run unbalanced to their bench. So they always ran an unbalanced line to their bench because you standing from here, you can't see it. So if you don't have someone up top that's on top of it or know what they're doing, you know what I'm saying? You don't know that they're outpowering you on the other side or they're outmanning you. It's that simple. So somebody upstairs got to pay attention to what's going on. Or you got to have somebody quality.
Well, again, I don't want to understate the Marvin Harrison Jr. Not playing because they were leading 35-24 when he took the hit.
Yep.
Buckeyes did settle for a field goal, which extended their lead to 14. And from then on, Georgia outscored Ohio State 18-3. Now, again, doesn't mean that
they needed him.
That's the reason why they lost.
It is. It is.
But he's a problem. And,
he a whole problem. Did you see his dad before his interview before the show?
I heard he did an interview, but again, I'm traveling on Southwest. Just make it right. That's all, Southwest. Just make it right. But he doesn't talk much. So tell me your thoughts on the interview because I heard it.
Oh my God. The man said, don't pay attention to who in front of you. Pay attention to your daddy who played in the NFL.
And it's all of fame.
Yeah, but your kid got to go to college. You know what I mean? Like, you tell him that means he's just going to ignore everybody he come in contact with.
I heard remnants of the interview.
Yeah, man, you can't do that. Don't pay attention. I couldn't imagine telling my son, hey, I've been a coach many years before you was born. Don't pay attention to the coaches at University of Maryland. You know what I mean? Don't pay attention to the coaches at Miami Dolphins. Don't pay attention. Just ask me. That don't make sense.
Well, as we transition to segment 2, don't pay attention to my picks because that's why it's strictly for entertainment purposes only. And we'll be right back with an extended bowl breakdown on the Eye Coaches podcast.
The reviews are in for Dr. Keith Adams' book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. College professor and student athlete academic expert Dr. Lisa Rubin said, "There is nothing out there like this book, so I do hope people will pay attention and give it a read." Former George Mason standout Folarin Campbell said, "Consider this book an opportunity to work directly with Dr. Adams just like I did. I assure you that there will be something you can take away that will be useful to you throughout your personal journey." Ryan Waite, a recent college graduate who is a software engineer, said, "I like how the book is based on research, which makes it good for general students as well as student athletes." The book serves as both a memoir to Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes over 15 personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues from a variety of sports and endeavors. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA Save Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches podcast. In segment 2, we're going to do some extended bowl thoughts. Follow all of college football throughout the season, and the bowl season is what we like to call the silly season. My personal goal is always 53% wins. That means you're winning according to the experts. I didn't have that this year, guys. So let's do a rundown. Mike, stop me if you care. Myrtle Beach Bowl, I had Marshall over UConn, but at least UConn scored. The Idaho Potato Bowl, I had San Jose State, and they took an L. The Boca Raton Bowl, Toledo versus Liberty, took another L. The New Orleans Bowl, Western Kentucky versus South Alabama, big win for the Hilltoppers. The Armed Forces Bowl, I'm going to pause because I had Baylor over Air Force. I watched the game. Air Force beat Baylor up.
It wasn't even.
They beat them, punch in the mouth and shot.
That was part of the problem, though. Why would you watch that game? Baylor, man.
Man, they beat Baylor up.
I know, but I mean, Baylor just disappointed.
That was bad.
Yeah.
All right. Gasparilla Bowl, Missouri versus Wake Forest. Wake looked good, but the quarterbacks transfer. So, Independence Bowl, Houston finally came through, and they owed me one.
They
beat Louisiana. Well played, sir.
A lot more than one.
Well played. And they beat Louisiana. Okay, well played. The Hawaii Bowl, Middle Tennessee State versus San Diego State. Jet lag doesn't last that long. So San Diego State was up 14-0. I'm talking trash in the group chat. And friend of the show, JJ, text, because I wasn't paying attention to the game after that, said jet lag doesn't last that long. And I look at the score, and them Bama's lose. Well, that's why it's strictly for entertainment purposes only, and at least somebody was entertained. The Quick Lane Bowl, Bowling Green versus New Mexico State, wrong again. First Responder Bowl, Memphis versus Utah State, see above, wrong again. The Birmingham Bowl, Coastal Carolina versus East Carolina, man, I was way off on that one. And the quarterback's leaving, so wow. The Camilla Bowl, Buffalo beat Georgia Southern, so I'm back on the winning track. Guaranteed Rate Bowl, Wisconsin versus Oklahoma State. Wisconsin wins, and I'll take any win over Oklahoma State. I'll take that. Military Bowl, Duke versus UCF. Duke is on the come up in the ACC, Mike. They on the come up in the Notice I said in the ACC.
Yeah, that's like saying I had
the
the highest score of everybody who failed the test. That's what you said.
The crickets, man.
You said the ACC, didn't you?
Duke is on the Duke is a top 4 team in the ACC.
How many
I'll put it out there right now.
In the playoff this, I'm wondering.
There's a strong take of nothing.
Ain't Clemson in the ACC?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Liberty Bowl. Now, Arkansas beat Kansas, but every defensive coordinator on both sides should look for a new job because what the hell are you doing giving up that many points to Kansas? Okay. I mean, it was like Arkansas, Kansas basketball. But anyway, Holiday Bowl, Oregon versus North Carolina, damn college kickers. That May kid's a good player.
Yeah, he
And Bo
is.
Nix coming back. He's trying to win a Heisman. Bo's got to be like 28 years old. But, them college kickers get you every time.
Mm-hmm.
Texas Bowl, Ole Miss versus Texas Tech. Lane Kiffin is not giving that raise back. So I guess you're stuck with him. Pinstripe Bowl, Minnesota versus Syracuse. Minnesota won. Keep rowing the boats.
That was a good game. That was a good game.
Okay.
I watched the second half.
I watched some of it myself with the ocean in the background, but I digress. The Cheez-It Bowl, which I almost went to, but no one was interested in going. I had Florida State. No, I think I had Oklahoma. I don't know. But it was a great game. Florida State's a team to watch next year in the ACC. Hey, they're one of the 4 best teams in the ACC. That's a strong take. That says nothing. Top 4 ACC. Okay, name 3 other teams better than Florida State in the ACC. You can't do it. All right, Alamo Bowl, Texas versus Washington. Hey, I'm glad I was wrong because I don't like. So I got to stop you on this one, Mike. The Duke Mayo Bowl, Maryland beat NC State. Hey, go Terps! Maryland, Maryland will win. But dude, the radio guy, all he had to do was give the score. Yeah. Hey, in other ACC action, whoever is playing whoever. This guy's giving editorial comments about
down here amongst, and I was like, what? Did he I had to listen to it like 3 times to make sure I heard what he said. I just couldn't fathom that would come out your mouth on a broadcast like that, national broadcast.
Who asked? Just give a score, man. Anyway, the Sun Bowl. UCLA lost the Pitt. ACC may be better than the Pac-12, sir. Because Pitt, let me say it right now, is one of the 4 best teams in the ACC going into next season. I tell you what.
I forgot they transferred to ACC. Big East don't have football no more. My bad.
Whatever.
That's how important that is.
All right. Notre Dame got a good win over South Carolina.
Yes,
great game.
sir. Yes,
Spencer's not that good, man.
Yeah, he is. They just don't have the people around him down there yet.
Every time I see Spencer, man,
Spencer need better.
Is Spencer a day 1 guy, day 2 guy, or day 3 guy in the NFL draft? See how we pump the brakes? So that means day 2. We'll just say day 2. So
let's go in the middle.
Slow down.
Let's go in the middle. Maybe day 2.
All right. Yeah, that's nice and safe. Okay. Arizona Bowl, Ohio versus Wyoming. When it rains, it pours. All of these close games went the other way. But luckily for me, I was in Florida, and you can't do online betting in Florida. So I didn't lose that much money. I didn't lose any money at all, actually. So I'm just talking trash. Orange Bowl, Tennessee versus Clemson. Not a good finish for Clemson.
Loved it.
Not a good finish for Clemson. Now, I got to eat some crow here. The Music City Bowl, Iowa shut out Kentucky. And as Prince once said, I stand corrected. And you got to look. They shut Kentucky out.
And that guy's supposed to be going up the draft board. It's one of the top 3 quarterbacks.
Yes, they love that. Took a shutout from the slowest good team in the country. So, all right, Sugar Bowl, Alabama versus K-State. Shout out Dr. Lisa Rubin, who was in the house. I'm feeling a certain way about Alabama, though, Mike. They're good. They beat K-State, who beat TCU.
They can't run the ball.
Beat Michigan. I mean,
they can't run the ball.
Yeah, so
they can't. And you saw last night, Georgia will run the ball. Michigan ran the ball. The first play, they had 60-yard run, and then they stopped running the ball. Like,
What that do?
you got to run the ball. You got to eat clock, move the sticks, keep the other team's offense off the field, especially when they got a good quarterback. But in this day of quick score, I knew Georgia was going to score. As soon as they scored, I knew Georgia was going to go score. Too much time.
All right, we've got 4 more bowls, even though there shouldn't be bowls after the playoffs, but some of them are legit.
Wow.
So the Rely Quest Bowl. Mississippi State is playing Illinois. I am going to go for Mississippi State because they're playing in the Raymond James Stadium, which is the home of Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the late Mike Leach was a Pirate guy. So that's the only reason why I'm picking them.
He also was a J6er, so.
Okay. You're going to run to LSU, Purdue, because I was just talking about the bowl.
You said his name, so.
I did. So I'm going to run to the Citrus Bowl, which is a legitimate bowl. LSU versus Purdue. I think Purdue's coach left to go to like Louisville or something.
Who?
I think Purdue's head coach left Purdue to go to Louisville.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
And Brian Kelly can't afford to go in the offseason with those bad losses. So I'm still predicting LSU, man.
Yeah?
You can't go into it, with all that.
No. You say you're not supposed to, but you can if you don't win.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh. That's going to be a long season.
Stop it.
That's going to be a long one.
Oh,
because
good old Michigan.
You built your team to beat Ohio State, but there's other teams out. Blah blah blah. Okay.
Guess what? That's the new verb. It's a new verb. Harbaugh.
Oh my goodness. So it's no more Clemsoning. It's Harbaugh.
No, it's birds of a feather.
All right, Cotton Bowl. I want to watch this game for all of the wrong reasons. I want to watch it for entertainment. I want to see if Tulane can do anything. USC versus Tulane at AT&T Stadium. Man, TCU should have me pausing on folks.
Right.
Man, USC should kill these.
Should.
Yeah, that's why they play the games.
All
right, Rose Bowl. Utah is actually favored over Penn State. So I'm taking Penn State outright, man. I'm taking Penn State outright.
Yeah. Definitely. Penn State all the way. Go.
So that takes care of all of the bowls. And when we get back, we're going to preview the championship game because this comes out on Thursday, folks. So when you hear Thursday, next time we tape will be Sunday, and the game is played Monday, and none of that works out. So we got to tell you what's going on now so you can get yourself ready. And we'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast.
There is an old business adage that says, what gets measured and monitored gets done. It is also fact that deadlines spur action. That is what the CKA Save Project Academic Monitoring Service can do for student athletes. Measure and monitor their academic progress to improve their grades. Our academic monitoring services provide ongoing academic support for student athletes for a designated period of time. Our academic success coaches work with student athletes on time management and organizational skills, along with improving their ability to self-advocate. Every few weeks, our academic success coaches meet with student athletes to assess their academic progress as well as provide ongoing academic advising. If needed, student athletes have access to CKA Learning Specialists who provide virtual core subject academic support for student athletes. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free virtual consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 3. You're going to get the OCP Championship preview. So on Monday, January 9th, prime time college football playoff national championship game, 7:30 on the worldwide leader in sports from SoFi Stadium. And I believe WrestleMania is going to be at SoFi. And will you be traveling out to, well, anyway, we'll talk about that later. All right. So TCU, Georgia, I got to get this off my chest, sir. Georgia's supposed to be here, but Rocky is real. Okay, Rocky's real. They really believe in that, and the nobody believed in us gimmick works. It does. When I was at Pape Branch, you were there when we beat an unstoppable machine called Annapolis High School, where even you were like, "Hey, man, Annapolis gonna kill you." And I wasn't mad at you. You got 6D1 guys and guys in the neighborhood. We had 2 basketball players, a couple of hybrids, and some football guys. So that nobody believed in us stuff works. When I was at Wooten High School, we made it to the regional semifinals using that gimmick. Okay. Hood College, we had just gone co-ed and had a program 2 years before I got there. And in our 4th year as a program, we make it to the NCAA tournament as an at-large bid in Division III, which is possibly, outside of making a team in the WNBA, one of the hardest things to do, because the D3 tournament don't let nobody in as an at-large team. Okay. We hang out with Fowler and George Mason. So again, that nobody believes in us gimmick has permeated my entire life. So TCU does have a shot, because if you're in the game, you got a shot. So let me give you some info about TCU, Mike. TCU last year went 5-7, fired longtime coach Gary Patterson, and got mad heat about it. They did. How you gonna fire Gary Patterson? You're gonna be in obscurity. Now Gary Patterson put you on the map. Sonny Dykes went from SMU, who were winning ball games, by the way, and his dad's a legend in Texas. And they began the season unranked with notably low expectations. And I don't think we said anything other than their name in the preseason. I don't think we did. They started the season with 3 straight wins over bums, straight bums. Okay. And it wasn't until they beat Oklahoma, and I think you even said on the show that you're like, all right, that's a good win. I think you said it as an aside. And then they just kept winning. And Max Duggan started the season as a backup and an afterthought, but an injury to quarterback Chandler Morris opened the door for him to take the job back, and he never gave it up. Finished the season as a Heisman Trophy finalist, and he's as tough as a Cracker Barrel breakfast steak, because I had steak and eggs. I'm still sliced it. So, Mike, any initial thoughts before we try to break this thing down?
Hey, no, that's a lot. Not at all. Not at all. No initial thoughts.
All right, let's go break this down strictly for entertainment purposes only. The early line as of the taping of our show is Georgia as a 13-point favorite over TCU, according to Caesars Sportsbook.
That came out during the press conference. That's sad.
13-point favorite. Is Georgia a 13-point favorite?
Not in this game.
So you would take TCU in the points?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Now,
definitely. I'm not betting against TCU. They like Tom Brady and
boy, it's a big skip there.
It's like Tom Brady, man.
So you taking TCU and the money line or TCU for the points?
I'm taking both, because I'm going to put a same game parlay.
Hey, Will, we've created a monster.
Yes, you did. Y'all got me.
So let's break this down. Coaches. Sonny Dykes can coach, okay? Kirby Smart can coach. So I think that's a wash. I mean, they're coaches. They coach. Strength of schedule. We joked last preview episode, TCU didn't play nobody, and Georgia didn't play anybody. And TCU beat Michigan with their best punch. They did. So I'm not overly worried about strength of schedule. And Georgia is the game of the year on everybody's schedule. So Georgia's used to it. And again, they played a C- game and won. How do you play a C- game and win? You're not supposed to. Quarterbacks. I like the Duggan kid. He's tough. He's got moxie, to quote TD. And Stetson Bennett's got to be, 27 years old. How old is Stetson Bennett? Okay. He has played more big games than any other college quarterback. Mike, Stetson Bennett is 25 years old. So let's just say he's got experience in big games. Fans, I want to say that again, and I'm not mad at Stetson. Man, get all the education you want,
Come on, man.
get all
25.
the NIL you want.
Come on, man.
My
Stop.
wife said the same thing when we were talking about the Oregon kid that I made the mistake of sharing with Will the pictures of his program pictures. But she said, man, that's a competitive disadvantage. That guy's going against 18-year-olds and he's 25. No, time to go. Okay.
Mhm.
So are you of that thought, man? Or play until, you exhaust your eligibility?
I'm playing until it's over. Like if they let me play till I'm 25, I'm playing.
All right. So he is 25. Wow. I mean, how old is Joe Burrow? Hold on. I'm losing track of the show fans, but I need to know how old Joe Burrow
He was
is.
about 24 when he was at. He was about 24 when he left.
Joe
LSU.
Burrow's 26.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Stephen Bennett's 25.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow's 26. Lamar Jackson 25. Get out of here. Okay. All right. So I'm sorry. I had to do the name game and the age game. So Jimmy's and Joe's. Who's Jimmy's and Joe's are better? TCU or Georgia? Mike?
Last night TCU showed me they were better. Last night I just TCU.
Okay. TCU's got better Jimmy's and Joe's than Georgia?
Okay, let me take it back. I don't know if they're better than Georgia, but they sure as hell was better than Michigan's.
Yeah, but they playing Georgia now.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough because I think Georgia is. Again, it comes down to up front, the lines. It comes down to the lines. TCU was more physical last night. Georgia, the D
What was the
line
hole
tough.
you saw in Georgia that you think TCU can exploit? What did you see? Secondary.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Secondary. I think that Dugan, whew,
He can run,
man,
and if you're playing man coverage,
man,
he gonna be a problem.
man. I think Dugan. I think the receivers were underestimated at TCU. Yeah, they went undefeated, and everybody thinks it's smoke and mirrors and gimmicks. You know, they ran the team on, they kicked the field goal. Oh, they're not that good. And then next thing you know, you're down 14-0. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing.
All right. So with that, game predictions, man. It's time to pick. Georgia TCU. You said TCU in the money line. So you think TCU will be the national champion?
I think TCU in the money line.
TCU in the money line. I've got TCU in the points, but Georgia will win outright. And I will more likely than not be wrong on some shape, facet, or form because Will took the over last night and won, and I took the under and lost. I don't know what the heck I was thinking. So I'm going to take the over. And there's your predictions. All right. So for those of you strictly entertainment purposes only, Coach Francis has TCU in the points and TCU in the money line as the upset. And that's good money. A lot of people are going to pick that. So that's not a crazy bet, fans. Dr. Adams has TCU in the points, Georgia in the money line, because I'm always trying to play both sides of the coin. And whatever the total is, I'm going to take the over because Will took the over and he keeps winning. So I'm going to go with the Cotton Man. Over under for you, sir. What do you think? I don't see no defense.
It's definitely the over.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, take the over. All right, so our projected top five when all of this is done. Mike will have TCU as number one. I will have Georgia as number one. I have TCU as number two. Mike would have Georgia as number two based on who's winning and our predictions. I got Ohio State as three. Who do you have as three, sir? Ohio State played a better game than Michigan.
Yeah.
That's it. They played a better game than Michigan.
I'm gonna take Stroud.
Okay, so Ohio State's three.
Yeah, he did it.
And out of the playoffs, and I know how the committee's going to do it, Michigan's a begrudging 4 because, you know, they were in the semifinals and they played the worst out of all of them. So now I have Alabama as number 5 because they took care of business and they made us remember that they're good too. Who do you have as number 5 before I give you the outside looking in? as our projection.
Alabama from where they played.
Yeah.
Alabama.
All right. So outside looking in, USC, Utah, and Penn State. USC because they're going to win. And then Utah, Penn State, whoever the winner of that one is going to be in it. And I don't know if I can sneak anybody else into the conversation, but good win for Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman. So maybe he can have a quieter summer because they was looking for him early. Lot to do, honey. So, any final thoughts before we close out, sir?
Nah. I want to say congratulations to my man Mike Locksley. Congratulations, University of Maryland, 8 wins. I text with him that night, and the biggest thing, and to show you the kind of person he is, he wanted to know about AJ. You know what I mean? Like, he just won the bowl, and the first thing out of his mouth was, "Hey man, congratulations about AJ. Congratulate him on what he's doing." Like real down to earth guy. So
yeah. Put in a plug, see if we can get him on in the off season he'd be a great Friday interview. We can just talk all kinds of stuff. So anyway, well, that's good. It's a great way to end that. So on behalf of my tag team partner, Coach Mike Francis, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast. And we will see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care. And again, Happy New Year.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach FRANCHIZE. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches podcast.